What? What, was Krillin busy? Come on, buddy, you can't be serious. With your power level, you're no android, you're no Namekian, and you're certainly no Super Saiyan. You're just human.
Yeah? Well, you know what? Power levels! Super Saiyans! And you! Shin Kiko!
Oh, that's a Dora. What, was Krillin busy?
Subine!
Subine!
Sorry about that, y'all. What's going on, man? This your boy Darkstar, and I'm back with another one, man. So today, I'm gonna cover a topic it's a little sensitive. It's a very sensitive topic to cover. Just before I do cover it, I do want to let everybody know that I have no ill will towards anybody in the LGBT community or the trans community. In fact, I have some really, really awesome people that I know that are representative of the LGBT community. And I've actually talked to a couple of them. They have no issue really me speaking on this, let alone they actually kind of agree with me on some of the stuff that I'm gonna bring up and that we're gonna talk about. But before I get into the meat and potatoes of this subject, I need y'all to do two things for me. If you have not hit the like button, please make sure y'all hit the like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to my channel, what the fuck y'all waiting for? Just hit the subscribe button, hit the bell twice. Don't treat me like a side bitch. Don't treat me like that bitch that you turn around and you see on the weekends, and then after that, there's no need to really call her again unless you really need something. Don't treat me like that, man. I mean, it's bad enough that I had to freaking listen to Logic, the rapper Logic, do a cover of "Today Was a Good Day" by Ice Cube. Man, I understand falling off, but bruh, that motherfucker fell the fuck off like Humpty Dumpty falling off the fucking wall, and there's no way in hell you could put that motherfucker back together. Like, for real, man. Like, just listen to that dude freaking try to even attempt to cover that song was just like this. Like, for real, that was my reaction the entire time. Like, I couldn't even get through the first verse of that shit. It was pretty bad. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the topic at hand. So, I saw some of y'all actually answered my poll that I put up, where I was asking this question: does the trans community have too much legislative power? And it seemed unanimous that everybody voted yes on that. And I'm actually going to have to agree on that too. Because just recently, one thing that happened that kind of proves that point is that I'm into the sport of powerlifting. I like watching powerlifting, I used to do a little powerlifting back when I was in the military. Okay? Apparently, now they're making it to where trans women can compete against women in powerlifting. Now it's by legislative law that if they want to compete in freaking powerlifting as a woman, they're allowed to do so. Now, for me, I don't agree with that for a couple reasons. There's a couple reasons I don't really agree with that. And mind you, again, I have nothing against anybody that is trans. Okay? I just need to make that very clear before I really get into my reasons. I want to make that very clear. Okay? For one reason, there's the biological differences. There's obviously biological difference as far as between biological men and biological women. And even when you're on hormones for a year, sure, you do lose a degree of your strength, but it's not enough to where it's to substantiate that you're on the same level as a woman, because you still have more raw body mass starting off with. Bones are heavier, organs are a lot bigger. Organs freaking shoot. I forgot where else I was going with this. But yeah, that's just basically, you're gonna have bigger organs, bigger bones, bigger muscles. You know what I mean? Those are gonna play a factor. Bigger feet, and the reason I'm bringing up bigger feet is because when you have to go to do a deadlift or a squat, your feet got to be planted straight to the fucking ground before you even perform the lift. And again, you're gonna have a biological advantage against a biological woman. That's just what it is at the end of the day with that. You know. And then the other reason I don't agree with it too is that it really does take away from all the work that biological women actually put into sports. Because let's be honest, there are biological women out there that work their fucking asses off, and no matter how hard they work, they're not gonna be at the same level as a trans woman. I've already seen too many videos on this. I've seen too many people speak up on this where they're talking about how they're at a biological disadvantage all the time, and time and time again, it has been proven in women's swimming, even in women's powerlifting. This has been proven. And then let's also not forget in MMA, where you had, and I'm gonna give this is probably the best prime example, where you had Fallon Fox, who's a trans woman that was fighting biological women in the ring. Hell, she broke a woman's orbital bone. Her orbital bone. You just imagine how hard you have to hit to freaking break someone's orbital bone. I don't know any women that hit that hard. Like, I met some women that hit pretty fucking hard. Case in point, my mom. My mom can hit pretty fucking hard, but she's not gonna hit me hard enough to break a bone in my face. She's not gonna hit me hard enough because her bones aren't thick enough to do it. It's the bones aren't thick enough to do that. So yeah, I mean, it got to a point they actually had to ban her. They actually had to ban Fallon Fox from competing in MMA. Not to mention that was also something that she didn't disclose either. So that really was not a good look on her end at all. That was not a good look. You know what I mean? And also there's even another trans powerlifter that can argue to this. And this is why she doesn't compete professionally. She retired after she transitioned. And it was a powerlifter by the name of Janae Kroc, formerly known as Matt Kroc. If you ever get a chance, look her up. If you need context, go ahead and look her up. She was when she was a male, she was competing in powerlifting contests ever since she was a male. Back when she was in the Marines, and let me tell you, that motherfucker's strong as shit. Like, there's no amount of work I can do now at my age to where I'll ever be on that level, like at all. And when she transitioned, she stopped competing altogether because she already knew she has an unfair advantage against biological women in powerlifting. She already knows she has a biological advantage. You know what I mean? That's why instead of trying to compete, she coaches. Which, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that if she's coaching. She powerlifts on her own, but she doesn't compete. And sometimes I wish a lot of people would be more honorable like that and just go that route. You know what I'm saying? I wish a lot of people would just own it instead of just turn around and just being like, oh no, that's not true. Because I mean, to try to say that you're on a fair playing field, it's a little delusional in a sense. Because when's the last time we ever heard of a trans man dominating in men's sports? I mean, all I'm gonna say is y'all name me one time that happened, and I'll concede my point. I mean, like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense how we're trying to cater to everybody, but we're trying to ignore the facts. You know, like, I've just never understood that. And then when we talk more about legislation, like, let me get into like something else that just really garnished my attention today. So apparently, And this was some shit that when I saw this, like, not only did my jaw drop, but I was sick to my stomach. And it was this kid. He found this sixth grader, mind you. He found this book in his library in school, and it was getting into very graphic detail as far as these two guys. I guess it was two guys having sex. Like, it was getting into very graphic detail to the point where it looked like this kid was reading a bad porno script. Like, you cannot make this shit up, man. You can't make it up. Like, and this is why, like, I just find it funny how, like, to where, like, we where like people want to educate kids on, on LGBT stuff, LGBT plus stuff, but yet we're not focused on kids learning how to read and write and do math. Because let's be honest, the stats are already showing that we have a lot of kids that can't read and write at their set grade level. It's already showing. Case in point, Baltimore is already showing that you have kids in that area that are performing the lowest in the fucking country. If anything, I think it said it's like, I can't remember the percentage. I want to ballpark. I think it was roughly like 5% of the kids that graduate can read at eighth grade reading level or above. Like, you can't make this shit up. But we want to talk. But yet we want to try to push for teaching about, LGBT stuff in school. Like, let's focus on making sure our kids can read and write and stuff before we focus on that. Because I'll be honest, I feel like that's some stuff that I think parents should address to their kids. I don't think the school needs to be involved in that. I think it's something that kids should be discussed with their parents, because at the end of the day, the parents are going to know what's best for their kids, not the school. I can't say 100% of the time, but I'm going to say about maybe 90% of the time parents knows what's best for their kids. You know? Because let's be honest, we got that 10% of parents that ain't shit and don't know what the fuck they doing. Let's be honest. All right, let's be honest about the fact that we got some that with the 10%, we got those ain't shit parents that don't know what the fuck they doing, don't know how to raise their kids, and they just raising the kids to just be straight up assholes. Not so much assholes, just raising the kids to be degenerates. That's really what it is. Just they're raising the kids to be degenerates. But I can't really say too much because I don't have kids. At some point, maybe I do want kids, but right now it's not in the cards. But at least not with the way this world is right now. Like, I don't think I'd be too scared to want to raise my kids in this world. In fact, if anything, I just feel like with a lot of the way they're teaching this LGBT stuff, all you're doing is giving parents an excuse to homeschool their kids. That's all you're doing. Giving parents an excuse to homeschool kids. You know? And even sometimes I don't feel like homeschooling is like the best education, but I mean, what other options are there at this point? Especially when some states are trying to mandate that, you're teaching gender identity and sexual orientation to fucking third graders and having drag queens read to kids. Like, this is like shit that I'm like that should be for adults, not for kids. Maybe if you're like a teenager or something and you're curious about that, cool, got that. And then I get, wanting to learn about sexual orientation and gender identity, because I get, when you're a teenager, of course, you're going to be confused about that. But I still think that's something that kids should go to their parents first. Drag shows, that's some shit you learn when you get out the fucking house. You don't need to be learning about drag queens when you're a kid. I'm sorry. Kids don't need to be learning about that shit. Like I said, I have nothing against anybody that's in the LGBT community. Not at all. Don't have anything against anybody inside the community. All right? Like I said, one of my best friends that lives in Houston right now is gay. He's like my little brother. Like, that motherfucker will tell me straight up if I'm wrong on something. He'll tell me straight up, bro, you fucking wrong. You need to fix that shit. He'll tell me straight up like that. He'll explain to me why I'm in the wrong and then correct me. That's what brothers do. But again, I don't give a fuck if he's gay. Whoever the fuck he wants to sleep with, that's his fucking business. So I'm just making that very clear that I got nothing against anybody in the community. At the end of the day, people can do what they want, but I just think when it comes to the kids, I think that's where I got to draw my line in the sand. When it comes to, you know, kind of, I guess I don't want to know. I don't know what word I want to use. I don't know if I want to use the word invading or co-opting. Women's spaces. I kind of draw a line right there because it's something that someone that I like. That one of my friends was very close to me was telling me. Somebody very that actually this was something that my girlfriend was telling me is like, why doesn't the trans community just create their own space? And that's a good question. That's a very good question. Like, why doesn't the trans community create their own space? Like create their own sports league. You know what I mean? Like, create your own little award show, kind of like, you have like, what is it, like Black Girls Rock? Why don't you create something like Black Trans Girls Rock? You know what I mean? Create your own, like I say, like just create your own spaces. You don't have to co-opt everybody else's space because again, you try to do that, everybody's gonna have an issue with that. Everybody's gonna take issue with it. Everybody's gonna have a problem with it. So instead of just trying to freaking, I get what's the word? I guess instead of trying to gaslight the situation, how about just create your own space? Problem solved. You go to Europe. When it comes to the bathroom issue, you go to Europe, they have gender neutral bathrooms. Why can't we just do that here? That would solve so many fucking problems with the whole bathroom issue, which I still don't see how bathroom issue is still a fucking issue till this day. But I mean, hey, whatever. Everybody's gonna fucking have something to get pissed off about. Everybody's gonna have something to complain about, like I'm complaining about right now. Well, I'm not so much complaining about it. I'm really just highlighting something that I just think is it's wrong and just not just. I just think it's wrong, and I feel like somebody's got to say something about it, especially when it comes to like the whole thing with the sports aspect. Because again, I'm all for fairness when it comes to any sport. Hell, I'll be honest. Like, if you were to say you wanted a trans man or if you say you want a trans man to compete in bodybuilding, in men's bodybuilding, I'll be honest, I would have no issue with that. And I'm gonna tell y'all why I would not have an issue with that. Because there are some trans men that are doing bodybuilding that this is gonna sound fucking crazy, but they would actually destroy some dudes in men's bodybuilding. Like their physique would blow some of the fuck of water. On some real shit. In fact, I think bodybuilding is actually in the right direction as far as doing shit with the trans community because they even like I know in Brazil they have their own bodybuilding league for trans women to where they compete. And I know like right now in the US they're barely getting that off the ground because I remember seeing something about that where they had trans men and trans women, competing on a stage. And I think that's a step in the right direction. By creating your own league. That's I mean, why can't we do that with other sports if they're already trying to do that with bodybuilding? You know what I'm saying? Like it's not hard to create your own space. Doesn't matter if it gets worldwide acclaim or not. You got to start from the bottom. Start from the bottom and work your way up. I mean, UFC didn't get as big as it was because they had a bunch of people backing it. UFC like started off as underground and it didn't really become like I think UFC started like in the early 90s. Early 90s, I want to say early to mid 90s and didn't really get big until like the mid 2000s. I say roughly around 2005, 2006, that's when MMA got big. It took a while. It was trial and error, but once they worked all the kinks, they were able to turn around and find a way to get it non-sanctioned and able to just they should get it sanctioned, not non-sanctioned, but to get it sanctioned to where you have weight classes and you have set of rules. You know what I mean? They're able to get things structured, and I think that's what it comes with when you want to try to build something like that is trial and error. You know. But it's up to those individuals if they really want to go that route instead of just trying to co-opt another person's space. Just create your own space. It's not going to be an easy feat. It's not going to be easy work. But again, it's like they always say, God didn't create Earth didn't create civilization in one day. You know, which is true. God didn't create life in one day. It took him 7 days to do it. So, I mean, like I said, I mean, for the most part, that's pretty much all I got on the situation. Um, yeah, with that being said, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and sign out. Y'all be safe. Y'all have a good one. Definitely probably gonna throw another gaming stream. I'm gonna throw a poll later on. Later on today, I'm gonna put a poll just to kind of get an idea of what y'all want me to play. Tomorrow, y'all just let me know, and I'll go ahead and I'll post up, and I'll go ahead and do it. But in the meantime, I'm gonna let Bane take it away, unless anybody's got something they want me to add to the discussion. Other than that, I pretty much said all I needed to say. Not, I'll go ahead and let Bane take it away. Actually, before I let Bane take it away, I think Saturday. Hold on once. I think on Saturday, what I'm probably gonna do. Hey, what's going on, Matt K? Salute, bro. You missed like the meat and potatoes of my shit, dog. You missed the dude. I really went in, dude. You missed the meat and potatoes of the subject, dude. Really missed it, man. But it's all good. No big deal. Oh my god. Ooh. Ugh. Sorry about that. Sorry. Oh, it's all good, man. It's all good. I mean, like I said, I mean, I can kind of go over kind of cliff notes of it just a little bit, just for some of y'all that are joining me right now. I really do appreciate it. It's all good, Matt K. I'll just kind of go over the meat and potatoes of it. Like, basically, I just kind of went over, my whole with the whole legislation thing. And again, like, I don't agree. Like, I personally agree with y'all as far as like with the trans community having as far as like too much legislative power. I actually do agree with that. That it is a little too much. And I just think some of it needs to be dialed back. And at the same time, I think when it comes to sports, trans community does need to create their own spaces with, sports, because I brought up a valid point when it comes to bodybuilding. They've even created like a trans league for trans women, trans men that can compete on stage. So I mean, not just here in the US. I know in the US it's very small, and I know in Brazil it's big. So my thing is like, if the bodybuilding community can create their own space for that sport, why is it that the trans community can't create their own space for other sports? You get what I'm saying? Like, what's the excuse? Because, and it's something I did want to bring up now, since it just came on my mind. You can't cry victimhood when you basically have leverage in the legislative branch. You cannot play victim when you're the one that's dealing the cards. Know what I'm saying? You can't call victimhood when you're the one holding the smoking gun. That's just my opinion on that. And that's something that I just think a lot of people who ever hear this kind of needs to think about that for a second. Can you really claim victimhood when you're the one holding the smoking gun? Just something for everybody to marinate on before I head out. Just really, really kind of marinate on that for a second. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I'm going to go ahead and get my black ass ready for work, because, I mean, even though I'm doing this YouTube shit, at the end of the day, nigga got to make them living. So, yeah, man. Yep, exactly, Matt K. Exactly. You can't claim victimhood when you're holding the smoking gun. That's exactly right. You can't do it. Cannot do it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and head out. I'm going to go ahead and let Bane take it away with the outro. And then I will catch y'all tomorrow on the next one. Y'all be safe. Peace.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man. By then it was nothing to me but blinding.